Today, I want to tell you a couple of secrets, and that is how to achieve the happiness that you desire and long for. In my personal experience, I get to talk to a lot of different people from different backgrounds, different mindsets, different ideology, different belief systems, different faiths. And one thing that is a common thread, especially among millennials, younger people, is what I ask them, what do you think is the purpose of life? Like, what do you want? And people tend to say, I just want to be happy. There was a study started back in the 1930s, originally called the Grant Study, and it was a long study, a longitudinal study, studying what makes a great life. It was done by Harvard and researchers there, and they studied hundreds of young men to try and figure out, over time, what's the most important to have a long, healthy, happy life. And it came down to this one thing, which was relationships. Relationships was the number one indicator for a happy, fulfilling, and healthy life. Ironically, relationships are also the number one indicator for not so happy, not so healthy, and quite dysfunctional life. I read this quote that if you want to be happy, have compassion on the people. If you want other people to be happy, have compassion on the people. Not only pity or sympathy or empathy, but compassion. So if you want to be happy, and relationships are the number one factor according to this long study, the Harvard study on adult development, to how we can obtain happiness and a healthy, long, fulfilling life, then how do you approach people so that you help them be happy and they in return help you be happy? I do think a key word is compassion, which interestingly is a word that was used to describe a teacher a long time ago who walked in Nazareth in Galilee, and he taught, and he had compassion on people. 2,000 years later, we have a study field called Neuro-Linguistic Programming. And one of the core tenets of NLP is that people are always operating at the best of their ability. Essentially, this idea that people are doing the best they can with what they currently have. So, if you want to be happy, which includes having compassion on people so that you're not triggered, that you're not upset, that you're not angry, that they don't cause a lot of emotions in you, but you're able to view their behavior, view their actions and what they say and what they do through a lens of compassion, so that hopefully there's not a triggering on your part and then you have this conflict escalation, the conflict vortex that you trigger them because of your response, fight, flight, your coping style. But rather you see through this lens of compassion. And you're able to do that, I believe, when you can tell yourself, because it is true, that what they are doing is the best they know how currently. They're operating at their optimal operating level with the information, the knowledge, the consciousness, the abilities that they currently have. And yes, I'm not saying that there's nothing such as wrong or wickedness or evil. I believe there's a moral code. I believe there is right, there is wrong. I'm not saying to condone evil, to condone wrongdoing. What I'm saying is that you can still have compassion, maybe even love them. Not necessarily like them, but treat them with love, the willpower, because you view them with the lens of compassion. With that, in your day-to-day relationship, people that you care about, people that you interact with, I believe if you view them through compassion, their quirks, their habits, their not so healthy habits will be less of a trigger. And I think the more you train this muscle of compassion, this muscle of love, you will actually be happier. And I think they will be happier because you are viewing them with compassion, you're treating them with compassion, and they feel your compassion intuitively. And they're happier, and you're happier, and everybody's happier. But not only happiness, I think there will be actually more of a functional, healthy, interpersonal relationships, and I believe something deep takes place when love triumphs through compassion.